Redo. Yeah, there's nothing still, but yeah. So I have to redo this because the sound overtook it. I'm getting that quite a bit. So I do like this. I do find this fun. And I find this really exciting. It's definitely something that I think really enjoyable. Definitely because of I said it before with the other one, where with Bye Bye Earth, I didn't like that because I was excited for like, oh, how will the people fight differently? What will happen, etc., etc. But most of the things that happened were all of them fought fairly similarly. Besides the sword not being sharp and the rot ability, you didn't really see much difference. And compared to this one, where there is a similar battle, but each one of the battles has a person with a different weapon. Gears, cards, chains. So how you combat them is different. I do like that. I do find that really interesting. Um, I also like that they do this. I'm gonna say this last time, and I do think it's a good thing. There's a certain level of like certain game things like this where like there's a scenario, there's two like groups, and they're trying to like fight for something. The two examples I'm using are before I say anything, the other one, the first one, I don't like. I just like the concept, and I think some of it was done not the best, which is Future Diaries, which sort of like acknowledges the outside world exists and everyone gets caught in crossfire. I do acknowledge that that sometimes does work, whereas like you have this insane thing and the public are getting involved and it is getting deadly. But the ones I prefer more is like this and um, Darwin games, where it's basically the public goes away. It's like then you can focus on the battles. You can focus on actually putting all of this interesting thing in. Yeah, there's a level of destruction, um, but there's also a level of like there will be destruction. We don't need to worry as much, and it is fun because of that. Definitely with certain parts of it, it is fun. It is exciting. Yeah, but I definitely love this 100%. But one of the things that I do like that are later on is there's a certain thing of talking about like how the connections aren't romantic and how sometimes it's just a connection between two people. Like there's one thing earlier where it's like, yeah, we're just two friends and that's it. And I think that's a good idea. Whereas like at the beginning it sort of looks like, oh, male, female, da da. But I like the idea that it slowly becomes between two business partners, between a manager and their client, and it's like a connection is connected, and I like that. I like two people who have power because of a connection, and it's not always romantic. I also like the fact that the twist of like that, oh, you had another person, and all of this is really fun. I also like that throughout the. I don't know why I'm saying. I also like. I really should change my words, but how she sort of like develops her powers throughout all of this and becomes stronger and stronger, becoming a better fighter and even being able to fight on her own at a certain point. I would want to say two of my favorite sets of battles are sort of like the one with the idol, because the idol at a certain point was like, well, my dreams are done. I guess I can't be an idol anymore. And you get the other guy being like, no, you will be. I don't care. I left an actual 9 to 5 job where I could just have just lived fine. But no, I gave that up to see your dreams come true. And I think that's a good idea of like that connection of like, no, I was a fan of you. And I liked your music. It's so amazing. I also like the idea that like it's like, no, because you lose, who the cares? I also like one of the earlier ones where you have the manager who is looked under because I think it's a condition. I can't tell you the condition. Also, I didn't say this on the last part of the review, but I just want to say this. It's where you are sort of like you don't grow as much. It's like I I don't know the exact words, so I'm not going to use it. So like she's sort of like shorter and seen as more of a kid, which I get. It's probably like not nice to deal with. And the older one who's seen the manager but is actually under her, it gets all this pressure and is like, oh, I'm not able to handle it, and I think it's really interesting. Also, I like the fact that at the end you see God. I don't know what that implies, um, but it's really interesting because the whole thing is like, oh, will it happen? Will this happen? I don't know. And the fact that they do see it, like, I think it confirms it. I don't know. But yeah, I do think this is really interesting, and I definitely enjoy it. It's definitely a very much enemy defeated, enemy. But overall, I do like it. It is chaotic fun. Buckshot roulette. I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know if we're gonna do a thing. I will definitely review it longer. I might put some of the mechanics I like in a spoiler section and just rename a couple of things. Um, because not really a story, but it is fun. It is chaotic. I most likely won't do segments and just talk about it for a bit. But yeah, I do hope you enjoy it. I do like, and good night.